Who in the money is just like myself? In the money, the counted money, the circulated money. It must be God's money because it's counted so high that we can't count on our hands or other people's hands. It's more than if everybody's hands were counted, thumb and four fingers on everybody's hands. The national debt is higher than that. So, who are you in the money? Well, you are outcast. From Jesus does not have a penis. That's why he's not alive, and you have something called crucifixion. That's because Jesus does not have a penis.
Does Jesus successfully die out of a penis? No. That's why it's a crucifixion. He does not alive himself in a penis and complete the penis and die out of the penis. It's a crucifixion. Well, if we are all educated in public schools like I am, or some private schools, I went to one private school. I was a guest at a private school for one day once, but they didn't invite me back, so I'm not a student at that private school because not invited. But I was a student at another private school, but it doesn't speak English. What are we to do if we are homeless in the threatening? That means if we don't have karma to be here, what do we say to one another? Because it can't just be, I gave you everything you have. What if you count everything that God has with myself anyway, and you count it for yourself and you just leave? God knows that's the debt you are to yourself. But he doesn't know that I am angry with that debt. And that's why you're doing jails and prisons. You can do that in a prison and get caught and fight over that you think that way about God. But you're past the consumption. You've done that already in public and you have an identity crisis. That God doesn't really know you that way. And you have too much time on the meter. Because I've been alive for 45 years of alive, no matter how long you have been alive. You're in your own alive under the umbrella of that. I have been here this way, this long. So, what's wrong with what you are? You don't have homeless, and you don't have deceased in the threatening, and you don't have that you're in prison. Well, you're a shock treatment to myself that I don't deserve anymore. And somebody just startled me today and shocked me with a shadow that passed by. I could see when I heard the sound of footsteps. I looked outside the open front doorway and I saw a shadow pass by, and it did startle me and shock me. And I don't afford it that you gave me everything that I have inside the apartment as though the door was locked. But it was not locked, and I don't afford you. You cannot shun inside of an apartment and count all those motions that God is doing, that you're doing that by that you keep the door locked and closed and locked while you're shunning. And then if people pass by the outside, they have to break the window to get anything inside. You can't be a store for God and hold the keys on the inside and shun. And that means you can't be in the public stores and shunning in there. For example, if I go into a supermarket and there's people already in there, when I enter, they're already in there. I can't really tell you how long they've been in there because I don't have a life that way to them or to you. So that's why you can't be inside a supermarket when I go in there, and I'm going to decease the money this way. The music in the supermarket, that's to let you know that it's my music. I find you in contempt of myself singing on my time, and I don't afford it. Okay, I'll say it again. The music in the supermarket that makes you feel comfortable in there while you're shopping illegally. Shopping. If you are illegally shopping in a supermarket, if you are illegally comfortable in a supermarket, listening to music, I'm the reason that's true, and I don't afford that you are the reason that's true to yourself. Okay, I want to rinse this out with tap water right now, but I'm going to save it the motion for trust that God kept this clean for me. And I don't know if tap water would be enough. I would also like it to be hot, which means I need to run the tap water until it's really hot. And then I would actually like to use dish soap, so I'm going to just give up and say I don't have the motion done. And then I also don't have this taken care of, the rust. This has potato pieces on top, and it has powder underneath. So I need to pour this out. That's the powder. This is the powder. I need it all mixed up. I'm a little late because it's already boiling. Yeah, I'll have to boil it for a little while I separate the soup mix. Okay, I just did two things at once. I'm holding this spoon, the bag that's empty, and the lid of the boiling water. I don't want the spoon over the floor. I have a reach. I can do this, but this kitchen is really too small. But what if the kitchen's too big? I don't have my kitchen that I would use for myself because I'm being murdered by that you don't believe in me. You don't believe in me? You don't know who I am? You're murdering me with that you don't know who I am. I know who I am, sometimes I don't. I guess you could say I don't know who I am for a long time for food. I don't, just not aware of it. So I'm not really just doing that to you as well because I didn't disclose my leverage until I was murdered, and I had to say that I'm in adultery. That's that's how you're murdering me is disclosed, and it's too late to say no because it's already done. I'm in adultery. So why still eat food, huh? Well, from one angle, it's not alive. I'm eating because I did something to give a lot of food out. A lot of people in public had access to a lot of food, including people that I saw eat in front of me daily or monthly or annually, or maybe once. Or if you're strangers in a restaurant, I eat, you eat, I eat because you eat. So I consumed that you were um, angry and eating um, so that I could eat or I can't eat at all. If you don't eat, I can't eat at all. So that's kind of why I'm still eating. If you don't eat, you don't let me eat anything at all. And it's more than that. If you don't give me food for the money, if you don't accept the money from me, I don't eat. If I eat somebody else's food, if I took somebody's food in a restaurant off their table, I wouldn't because I'm mean. But that's what's wrong with the threatening. I'm not really in your creator and I'm in order. I can do anything I want with my body. All things are mentally possible. Yeah, but not at all times because I'm in order. Like I have head and genitals. So not everything's possible all at once. That's why sometimes I don't answer your questions because it doesn't, because I have a head and genitals and it doesn't answer your question. It doesn't have a line that way. Okay. I am going to need to do the boiling water first and then the rest goes in the bag. But what I really want to do is see how much is in the bag. Yeah. Oh, well, are we ready? Okay, I'm going to try to make the best soup I can make here. Lori Fenson. Oh, everybody say hello to Lori Fenson. I think she would not uh, expect that I would have said her name this way, but that's what's wrong with you, offending myself. I am the one who makes the threatening. If you threaten me because I make the threatening and you can have your way in the moment, that will be elsewhere's scary for you. Like it was scary for me. Lori Fenson locked me out of a house. Yes, that's scary for me because I'm not a house myself. And that's how that happened. She did. She locked me out of a house when she was, I think she was a third grader at Dunwood Elementary School. And I was younger, maybe first grade or maybe, yeah, first grade or second grade. No, first grade. Was she not a student there? Is she older? But I know her name is Lori Fenson. How could I possibly know that? She must have been in the student yearbook. Well, she didn't say, hi, my name is Lori Fenson. No. That's what's strange about the world here. I don't really know you, but I can say some things that are mentally impossible from time to time. So if I was in first grade and 6 years old, she was about 8 years old, but she's like, she's older than me, like older in consumption of her body, like appearance. I don't want to say health because she's still a youth. Yeah, at the time of the greetings, she's still a youth. So it's something about the way she looks that's like, I don't know, older. So she's taller and she weighs more. Yeah, at the time. But I've since grown, and now I am so far away from having ever met Lori Fenson that she owed me that she gave me the house. Yeah, I don't afford it anymore. That I don't have it. That's too much leverage against myself for her being, I don't know, important because she's older. She has things I don't have. She stopped going to school. I don't see her at school anymore after the house disaster. I walked there. She walked there. We went there walking from Dunwood, walking to the house. That's me who can do that. Dunwood has school buses. You have to be on the school bus. Yeah. That's how I got to Dunwood. I got there on a school bus. Dunwood Elementary School. And it's closed and clôtured now. It's a senior center, or maybe it's altogether closed now. Port Washington Road area, Milwaukee County, state of Wisconsin. Lori Fenson House. Yeah, anybody want to go to Dunwood Elementary School building if it's still there and just walk around and say, well, if I was a first grader, how far could I walk away from Dunwood Elementary School and find the exact house that Lori Fenson locked out Becky Moser? I have to find the exact house, and then once I identify it, I need to make a police report, and I need deceased because I need you to die on that point. The way I did, I need everyone to die the way I did. Okay, this soup takes 15 minutes. Okay, give it plenty of time. 15 minutes. That's the top I just took off. Yep, that's the same one. It's still there. So, I'm a little molested by Rachel Ray cooking show on the Food Network. That's now canceled, but I remember it. 30-minute meals by Rachel Ray. The reruns were on for quite some time, but that's done now. Rachel Ray cooks announcements how to make food taste good and do it in 30 minutes or less. Yeah. Well, God makes food and he has sex on the food. Yeah, if God was making food in front of Rachel Ray, like made it appear, like come into formed. Like imagine God was making, let's say I have this spoon like this, and God just made this soup mix appear on the spoon to look like this without me scooping it. I would just hold the spoon like this. If you could watch it on the camera, just appear. How would you feel about that? Rachel Ray does some kind of 30 minutes or less fast, quick fix of meals. Yeah, like that you can do for why. And it tastes good because it is itself. But how do you know how it tastes good? From Rachel Ray. Does anybody else watch this show? Well, I'm going back a number of years, but well, I thought it was really interesting, except I didn't have any food money. I was sort of eating, that I had something to eat where I was staying. And I didn't have that I could look at the show and then go and do it all myself. Like how? Because I would need to record it and play it back. What Rachel Ray was doing, because she does it in 30 minutes or less. So I need a pen and paper. I need to take down the recipes. She might prepare more than one thing on the show. I need to stir the pot. I will use this. Yeah, okay, this is good. Yeah, maybe I should turn it down to 4. I don't really want to, but it's splattered a little. Splattered, it's splattered a little. Okay, let me turn it down to 4. It's on 4 now. Martika. Toy soldiers. That's an old song. I heard it on the radio a long time ago in Wisconsin. Martika toy soldiers. What's it about? Step by step, heart to heart, left, right, left. We all fall down like toy soldiers. I guess that's what it's about. Martika, she's illegally singing. She needs to be locked in a walled-in prison with deceased address, even though she's female, because she's singing. That's how she's not exactly feminine. She's singing. This is the Lender's Bagels bag. I have used this before to store other soup mix. And I still don't have Lender's exactly sending me something better to store soup mix in, or to just give me more soup mix so I can throw this out because it's opened and I used as much of it as I'm going to use. Does everybody save food? Well, you're not hired to do that. I am myself deceased. If you throw food away, that's pretty much true that you threw it away. It's the same thing as if you ate it because you consumed that you keyed it in and you keyed yourself off and you threw away the food or you ate it. It's pretty much the same thing. It's seafood. If you see me, you're eating seafood. You're eating fish and threatening. And seafood, unfortunately, you can see it. SEE, seafood, SEAFOOD. In the supermarket is raw. Yeah. I want it hot. Yeah. It is bubbling, and I don't want to see the splatter. But it needs to be hot. Try that. I want homeless, Father. I am a little bit angry. It looks wrong to me, but it's angry. Father doesn't like it when I click my tongue and skip the threatening that I didn't do it. That he knows, and he says he doesn't know in the body what I am skipping. And that's condescending abduction of myself. Asthma, yeah. I have asthma if I don't do that. Okay, I think that's good. So, I am here to tell you that I am homeless in the threat's name. So I can just put my hood up and cover my hair does not dry. And my head feels ill when my hair dries. So I can't have to have my hair wet all the time because when it is dry, I feel ill. I need it. If I am asleep, it can be dry. That's what's wrong with it. If I am unconscious asleep, the hair can be dry. Yeah, but if I am awake and I have the hair dry, I am awake and the hair doesn't feel the same as when I'm asleep and I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of my hair when I am asleep, unconscious, and I don't afford to be awake with the same hair, with my hair uh, in alive anymore. I don't afford it. I am past the point that I can pay for it. I can't. I did a mad haircut on myself, and it's terrible. I don't like it. And I also don't have afford for the head covering when I'm sleeping. I don't wear this when I'm sleeping, but I can wear it now. My hair is wet now because I wet it, but I cannot take a full shower at this time. And before I was using more water than I wanted to keep the hair wet from time to time during the day. I would have to refresh the hair and take a very quick shower, but it does waste some cold water before the water warms up enough for me to stand in under the shower head. Water running. Well, now I'm using 2 cups liquid measuring cup that has like a pour spout. What do you say? You can pour out of it. It has an indentation to pour. It's extended to pour it, and a handle like a pitcher, but it's 2 liters cup. 2 liters cup. Oh, you want to click your tongue over that one? Thank you. It's a 2 cups measuring cup. So that's what I use to pour water over my head, but then I need to towel off sometimes because I get water on my body and it's cold after I'm done. So, what is wrong with you? Do you bathe? Do you take care of everything that God wants you to take care of for yourself? Or do you illegally alive, fully clothed, with your hair done? Yes. If you are black, that is to be expected. If you are white, you are supposed to groom yourself. If you are Asian, you are not due to groom yourself either, like a black person. And that's because you don't hold alive without 8 people. You are formed with 8 people if you are black. You are formed with 10 people if you are Asian. And you cannot do your own hair because you don't have alive that way. All of the 8 of you would be alive. Well, God would know when you're alive. And so you are alive with them or without them. Depends on what God creates you to be. And that's why you cannot be Charles Toe. Because he's not with the other people who have formed him as Asian. He's been living in my residence for some 23 years. And he's far apart from people he used to be formed with that are Asian. Whatever made him angry is over now. I don't see him coming back here, but I will know that when I'm not alive anymore. Okay, that's too hot. I need to turn it down. Yep. Did you see that? It's splattered. Oh, that's hot. That is way too hot. Okay. Is it done? We think it's done. Well, you can take them. 32 minutes. Has it been enough time? Maybe I should try it and see if it's any good. We'll leave that for a moment. I think I'm done with this. What do you think? Did I melt the fork? It still looks pretty even, huh? I know it's a funny fork, that's why I'm cooking with it, but I want all the prongs of the fork to be evenly spaced apart. There's the shadow. You can see the shadow. Yeah, I don't want to put the shadow in my mouth because the wall is so unsanitary here. I need God to make something else for me because I'm done here. Absolutely done. Don't want to know ya. That's the rust right there. And I don't want to eat anything from this stove because it's already rusted. Would you drive a rusty car? I am driving a rusty stove I didn't pay for. Okay. So, I have my legs crossed, but it's homeless. I'm not tall enough to cross my legs. And if I were still a kid, if I didn't grow out of my height because the debt was paid for elsewhere, I would not cross my legs because I would still walk my legs kindly around the money. Well, I don't have karma to be here anymore. I already tasted this soup. I made it in front of you, but the camera doesn't turn itself off. So, what I would like to know about you is why don't you talk back on the camera? And you can't because you don't have a live that way. So, why do you talk to me anymore? Because I still see people talk to me and they bring me things I need because I'm still alive, but I don't know why you do that. Why aren't you elsewheres? Why didn't you die already so that I can go to the store myself with my short and tight body and get whatever I need out of the store with no people in there because you're all in jails and prisons and I'm waiting for God to give you a death, which would take another 450 years. So I'll die out of my genitals anyway. But I was wondering if you knew, what am I supposed to do with it? I don't have any food money because I'm not alive. And somebody's giving me food but making threats. But I'm not alive. There's nothing I can do but to cease the threats, and he doesn't know that about me. Neither do you, if you're watching this video. It's to be posted on YouTube, but who is to view it? God will, I suppose, count the viewers, but he doesn't really alive them all, or he alives more than the counted views to hold it in the posting on YouTube. That's God who's doing that for himself. Because you're not in prisons and you didn't die out of your prejudices. If you tell me what you think about what I said, is that the same thing as you telling me what you think about what you see and hear? Does anyone know why police think I need a psychiatrist? And after the police depart, I find the psychiatrist surrounded by people the police did not put in the psychiatrist. Because that's the psychiatrist needing to be elsewheres if I'm looking for the psychiatrist. Or if it's just a hospital, why are there other people in there? Are they homeless and they're in the hospital performing for God that they are very good people anywhere at any time? Because they're all about to owe me myself deceased, and they're not going to know where I am if I'm not in the hospital with them presently. That's why you need to run when you see me, because I'm going to decease my leverage and you're going to be caught in your genitals, and you're going to be caught by your genitals that you stole something you couldn't afford. Whoever used to give money to my dad figure Hans when I was really little, like 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, and still growing all the way until I was uh, between 14 and 15 years old. Who was giving him money like it was an emergency for him to get the money for me? What was he going to do to me? Because I am demolished out of the order at my own expense. And that's meaning to get the money from you did not happen with me threatening him, and where is he? And then I get money for that he is to be safe. That means you don't threaten somebody who's threatening yourself, and then you threaten them, and then they threaten you elsewhere, and then you threaten them. That's not true that it's due in a life that way. You're making charges and you're charging me for the money I had to pay the charges, and I absolutely died that way. So we're going to end up in Superior Founder back in the year 1981, 1982, 1983. And that's going back far. It's going far back to find who was not giving Hans Moser money until he asked for it. And when he asked for it, they gave it to him, like, goods and services and things, like with his car parking that he was driving. He was driving a car and parking it. And everybody gave him everything he asked for. And he made a lot of transactions with somebody's money. And you didn't know who he was, you're going to be held responsible for that. You know who he was. And then you're going out of a life because even God doesn't have all those records exactly who. But I was there. I recorded it with my genitals, but I died out of my genitals. So you have that problem. Do you know how to solve that problem? It sounds like it's just in a holding pattern in football. Yeah. You didn't care when it was of the essence to myself. I'm not Becky if you call me in the comments. You can't call me in the comments Becky, like it's going to sedate myself because my name is Becky and I know why. So if somebody calls me Becky in the comments, what do you think I should do about it? Is there something wrong with you? Because you don't know all of you don't know all of the other of you. You don't all know each other, like everybody, everywhere, ever. Whoever has used YouTube, not everyone who has used YouTube knows everybody else who uses YouTube whenever, since the beginning of YouTube. Maybe before the year 2005 or 6, or when's YouTube started when? I don't know. I'm thinking of the Mariah Carey music video, year 2005. We Belong Together. And then I better not catch this flick on YouTube. Those were the lyrics to what's the song? Compu Nerd was in the music video, so it's a Volkswagen Beetle with CompuNerd printed on the side of it. And a computer technician got out of the car and went into Mariah Carey's house in that music video, whatever the name of it is. She said, I better not catch this flick on YouTube. If there's a camera up in here, you better not catch this flick on YouTube. I used to listen to Mariah Carey cassettes and CDs. She has a song called Cruise Control. I like to think about it. I like to think about her music because it's already published. But if I met her one day, would she say, there's something wrong with you that you listen to my music too much? Or would I say, there's something wrong with you that you sing in front of a microphone with a contract and you don't say no? Is that the back and forth between Mariah Carey and myself? But she has a lot of money and I don't have money. I have a lot of hunger. So how do I hunger for food? Yeah. And I need to have food minds. So what about Mariah Carey? What would that be like in the afterlife if I see her? I'm going to lose the Godhead, has feminine genitals on the Godhead. And she has hoarded up an enormous amount of wealth. Mariah Carey. Is she going to see this video? What about every other singer? What if she's not alone to herself? Because there are a lot of songwriters who do that. They amass wealth and then they sing. Why didn't Mariah Carey ever tell Taylor Swift not to sing because Mariah Carey's angry? Does she even know me? She knows me and she's not giving me any money. And Taylor Swift knows me and she didn't give me any money. I'm not a panhandler. I alive you. I didn't give you everything you have because I walked by and said you could keep it. I hold alive of everything of the formed world. I alive. I'm none higher than he deceased. You didn't give me anything that was mine to myself. You're worse than the people I knew closely, in close proximity to myself, who gave me something out of the nothing that I had. Hall and Oates, John Hall, and John Oates. John Hall, your name is not Daryl Hall. Daryl is the name of your penis. You have a dong genital. Your name is John Hall. Why is your name Daryl Hall? That's wrong to me. Yes, it's wrong. I don't call you Daryl. It's John, and I wouldn't say it out loud. John Oates, you're also not nice to John Hall. You're due deceased to the microphone so you don't sing on my time. Next is the Commodores. Lionel Richie, I heard your music until I cried. I couldn't understand why I was still alive listening to it and frustrated after a 4-minute song ended. I loved it, but when it ended, I didn't feel the presence of the music anymore. So I replay it a number of times and then I have to stop doing that. So, of the artists I just mentioned, who of you know each other? And what did you do about helping each other to die in God? Because you have a contract, you sign a contract to sing at a microphone. And if you don't see it, you're illegal. There is a contract that goes with the microphone. I have a contract with Charles Toe that he sexually abused myself without telling anyone, that he hurt me the way he did. And now everyone can see it on YouTube. And I don't want any money for that. I'm making a lot of videos and posting them on YouTube. I want myself deceased because I don't want to live anymore after what Charles Toe did to me. If that was why he did it, he certainly got his way. I don't love myself anymore. That's my contract with this microphone and camera and YouTube. I want a death on myself. I want to die in God. And I hope soon. Do you know how to sexually abuse somebody? And all you did at the end of it all was say, well, if you didn't like it, you should have just said no. You should have just gone away from the sexual abuse so that you know that you don't live there. That's true if you're in a walled-in prison and with deceased address, so you can die that the sexual abuse happened to the body and not to the front doorway. I'm not a front doorway that's so big that you can walk through. I have genitals. You don't sexually abuse my genitals like they are a doorway that lets you walk through and go in someplace. I don't want to live. I am poisoned by sexual abuse. If you say you're sorry to yourself, try not to do that in the comments because the comments are open, but they're reserved as empty. I don't need any sympathy out of you because you're consuming it. You can't help it. You can't say you're sorry. You can't help it. You can't make it better. You can't be sympathetic because I've been sexually abused is something you are consuming in alive. You don't have a life without it. And that's you and you're alive. And that's why there's no such thing as an apology unless you die. That means you have to go to jail and prison and forget about me and think about yourself and die of being yourself.